Ladies and gentlemen, stop everything. 1 minute ago, in what could be the biggest political earthquake this country has seen in decades, Sadiq Khan has been arrested by the Metropolitan Police, allegedly. That's right, arrested allegedly. The same Sadiq Khan who has spent years standing in front of cameras, promising safety in London, preaching togetherness, yet allegedly overseeing a cover-up of grooming gang abuses so vast that the entire political establishment may collapse under it. Just in, the Met Police have launched a major UK political scandal probe into what's being called the Khan grooming gang cover-up. Sadiq Khan is in custody. The headlines are screaming. The public is furious. The symbolism is brutal. A mayor in handcuffs, corruption, allegedly of the worst sort, betrayal of the vulnerable under his watch. Think about that image. Sadiq Khan standing in a luxury seat, shaking hands with elites at Mayfair dinners, while somewhere else children are exploited. And according to whistleblowers, evidence was buried, questions dodged, alarm bells ignored. This moment isn't just dramatic, it's existential for Khan. It's a moral reckoning. Escalation of conflict. Reports from retired Metropolitan Police officers, whistleblowers, claim that Khan ignored repeated investigations, blocked reports and willfully neglected allegations of grooming gangs operating in care homes, in county lines, in neighbourhoods where London's poorest children live. We have times when Khan dodged questions 9 times in a row from political opponents about whether grooming gangs were active in London. Clarify what you mean by grooming gangs, he'd reply, as though this was some arcane riddle, not a moral catastrophe. These allegations suggest a system where vulnerable children were treated like inconvenient whispers in corridors, where reporting abuse was brushed aside so reputation could stay shiny. Symbolically, cardboard boxes in forgotten council rooms versus silk-upholstered luxury suites where press photos happen. The contrast couldn't be starker. And let's not gloss over this. Many say Khan's inaction had political motivations, that exposing grooming gangs could be seen as racist or damaging to his alliances, so better to silence it, spin it, postpone it. When victims were begging for investigation, he offered confusion. When pressure rose, he offered deflection. Always the performance of concern, but allegedly never the action. Climax, the humiliation moment. Now, the nail in the coffin. The Met Police have detained him. Arrested. Not a mere question. Not a voluntary statement. Detained. The walls are closing in. Evidence leaks are suggesting that specific files, internal memos, whistleblower reports were suppressed under his administration. Something that was once whispered is now shouted from court filings, police logs, first-hand accounts. One senior whistleblower said that his own report was systematically shut down by Khan's office, that instructions were given to destroy or misplace key evidence. Think about that. Deliberate institutional suppression. That's not negligence, that's active obstruction. If proven true, this is not just bad leadership, it's criminal. And what makes this humiliation theatrical is that Khan, who built a political brand on compassion, on diversity, on being the defender of London's underprivileged, now stands accused of abandoning them when they needed him most. The man who posed for campaign photos in community centres may be the same man who, according to allegations, turned a blind eye to children in crisis. Consequences, political fallout. Keir Starmer and the Labour government are now implicated by association. If Khan has been part of this cover-up, the narrative of Labour as protector is shredded. Opponents will demand resignations, party purges, possibly Starmer's own credibility may be at stake. People will ask, was this a known risk? Did central leadership ignore red flags? Did they prioritise polls over protection? Social fallout of communities feel betrayed. Londoners, especially from the most vulnerable neighbourhoods, will feel that their trust has been stolen. The very people Khan promised to uplift now may believe his promises were performative. Victims will feel validated, but also enraged that it took a scandal of this magnitude to force accountability. Economic fallout. Investors hate instability. London's image as a safe, well-governed global city is going to take a hit. Tourism, business confidence, housing market, everything could wobble. Cleaning up reputational damage could cost millions. Legal costs, inquiry costs, costs to rebuild trust. Legal fallout. If investigations prove corruption, obstruction of justice, or failure to protect children, Khan could face serious charges. Not just political death, but legal ramifications, criminal trials, potential jail time. His offices, staff, aides under scrutiny, ex-politicians closing ranks, leaking internal memos, all of them with something to lose. Moral fallout. This is the worst betrayal of public trust, of the vulnerable, of children. Every time a politician says we are doing everything we can, this scandal threatens to render that phrase meaningless. For many, this will forever mark Khan not as Mayor of London, but as Mayor of Secrets. Resolution/judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, from this moment forward, Sadiq Khan is finished. If these allegations are proved, and at this point the arrest suggests they might be, he has no moral high ground, no public mandate left to salvage. His speeches about safety will sound hollow. His charity appeals, photo ops, community visits, all of it compromised. There is no rebuilding from this unless he comes clean, unless he releases every report, every email, every suppressed memo, unless the people hurt by his alleged negligence are compensated, apologised to, heard. But the odds of that happening gracefully are slim. Because once you let corruption, cover-ups and moral cowardice define your tenure, backpedalling is not enough. Keir Starmer's government will have to decide, does he disavow Khan, distance himself, throw him under the bus? The Labour brand, once associated with justice and fairness, now risks being branded as complicit. The question every voter will have in their mind, did they know? Did they stay silent? And why? Now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is this the end of Sadiq Khan as a political force? Can he survive after this? How much of this lies at Keir Starmer's feet? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this video. Let everyone see this scandal. Because mainstream media may try to polish the edges, but we need the full, ugly picture to spread. If you believe people in power must be held accountable, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell and stay tuned, because this story isn't over. It's just gotten real messy. Disclaimer/notes. As of now, these are allegations and leaks, and the Met Police probe is allegedly ongoing. Nothing has been proven in court yet. But the alleged arrest changes everything. Heads are rolling, secrets are shaking. And if you thought politics couldn't get more surreal, this is evidence that sometimes the horror is stranger than fiction. Because when the powerful fall, silence is their last defense, and we can't afford to stay quiet now. Donald Trump has claimed he requested Sadiq Khan not attend the King's state banquet, despite fact the London mayor seemingly had no desire to attend. The US president has been on a state visit of the UK this week, visiting the royal family at Windsor Castle and later the Prime Minister at Chequers. The visit saw the UK and US announce a new £150 billion tech deal, as well as both Trump and Starmer give a joint speech last night, during which the pair addressed matters of Ukraine, Gaza, immigration and Peter Mandelson. During his stay, Trump attended a state banquet at Windsor Castle with the King and other important figures in attendance. However, one person President Trump did not want at the meal was the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, giving a scathing analysis of the politician in the latest chapter in a continuing feud between the pair. Trump told reporters on Air Force One while on his way back to the US that Khan had wanted to attend the banquet, but the president had asked that he not be there. Despite this, the BBC understands that Khan did not seek or expect an invite to the state banquet. Speaking to reporters, Trump said, "I think the mayor of London, Khan, is among the worst mayors in the world, and we have some bad ones. I think he's done a terrible job. Crime in London is through the roof. I asked that he not be there. He wanted to be there, as I understand. I didn't want him. Hitting back at the president, a source close to Sir Sadiq told the BBC Trump's politics sowed fear and division. Writing for The Guardian this week, the London mayor pointed out that the city is safer than every US state in terms of homicide rate and highlighted how record numbers of Americans are moving to London. Major crime stats have also dropped significantly this year in London. Sadiq Khan is facing pressure to resign over his failure to accept there is a grooming gang problem in London. It comes after a police whistleblower revealed to The Express that the horrific crime has been rife in London for 20 years. Over the course of 2025, the London mayor has dodged questions on the topic on 9 separate occasions, but now a former Metropolitan Police detective has claimed there was a cover-up. Decorated former detective John Wedger claims he uncovered a trove of evidence suggesting that there is organised sexual exploitation of children in the capital on a level that goes way beyond notorious scandals in towns like Rotherham or Rochdale. I'd actually uncovered kids from the age of 9 to 14 that were being trafficked for prostitution on an industrial scale, he told The Express. They were being sold in crack houses, swapped for 9 rocks of crack, then taken to hotels to have sex with builders that were working in central London. After that, the kids would then be taken to upmarket Arab restaurants in Mayfair around the Curzon Street, where they would be traded for as much as £2,000 each. That was happening on a daily basis. Whilst working in the London borough of Haringey, Wedger said he identified 52 potential victims of a sex abuse ring that took children from care homes, 6 of whom were in dire need of help. However, when he presented these findings to senior police officers and representatives from the local council, he claims his efforts to safeguard victims and bring perpetrators to justice were blocked. His cop bosses also stonewalled detailed reports about grooming gangs operating in Tower Hamlets, Croydon and Westminster. I was told if I ever mentioned what I'd uncovered, I would lose my home job and children, he claimed, because this would fuck the Metropolitan Police past, present and future. To back up his claims, the whistleblower showed The Express his police notebook from the time and contemporary reports sent to superiors, as well as his detailed statements submitted to the 2022 independent inquiry into child sexual abuse. Wedger says he has been invited to participate in the upcoming inquiry commissioned by Keir Starmer in June. The former detective said Mr. Khan should be removed immediately for repeatedly refusing to accept the problem and continuing a policy of willful neglect that he felt amounted to an act of malfeasance in high office.